Patreon.com/the Walk-Off Podcast. $4 a month gets you in there.
If you're watching this right now and you haven't hit the like button, Billy, get on it. Bug your brother. Tell him to do the same.
All right, next one comes in from Twitter. So at Bankrupt on Twitter DM'd us and said, any chance that this Jose Altuve injury leads to a path where Toronto makes a trade from our pool of second basemen, brackets, please not SB. Biggio to Houston seems almost like a dream fit from a family legacy standpoint. Is there a fit? We need some starter depth.
Okay, so this comment stood out to me, and I know we brought it up in yesterday's show, and we're kind of saving the meat of it for today. The Blue Jays are deep in that second base position, right? Whit Merrifield, Cavan Biggio, Santiago Espinal are all going to break with the team. Otto Lopez most likely as well. In the minors, they've got Addison Barger knocking on the door. They've got Aroldis Martinez to play some short and some second. There are guys who play second base within this system coming up, knocking on the door, besides the three that are already going to be on a merry-go-round for playing time there. Jose Altuve took a ball to the hand in that final game of the WBC for his team there, Venezuela, and he broke his hand. Needs to get surgery. They're saying that it's somewhere between 8 to 12 weeks that he's going to be on the shelf. So if this is a 3-month injury, it is possible that the Houston Astros are interested in getting a somewhat cheap replacement who could fill in admirably over those 3 months and then still have some use when it comes to sliding around the diamond. Santiago Espinal fits in beautifully in that. Cavan Biggio fits in beautifully with that idea. And there is the legacy of the Biggio name in Houston. How likely is this? I don't know. How much would Houston truly... I don't know the Astros minor league system like we know the Blue Jays system. Like you and I, Adam, are so tapped into this Blue Jays minor league system because we're constantly having the boys on the show and interviewing the affiliates up and down the organization. But I really don't know much about Houston. So is there a viable option within the organization that makes more sense and would save them moving assets around? I don't know.
I mean, as much as I hate Houston might be my second least favorite team in baseball, behind, of course, the Yankees. But
of course,
Houston, very capable at developing players. I mean, Carlos Correa left, and they replaced him with Rookie of the Year almost. World Series MVP, Jeremy Pena, Mr. Biceps himself. I have to assume that they've got in-house talent that's probably more appealing at like giving a shot to than Cavan Biggio.
Now that said, Aldemis Diaz, who Blue Jays fans will remember from his tenure with the Jays a few years ago, he was, of course, moved to Houston from the Blue Jays and has been kind of their bench guy, utility dude. He is in Oakland now. So there is a spot, possibly, if there isn't someone within that organization that's knocking on the door right now, and it would possibly make some sense. And yes, the Blue Jays do need some depth starting, and the Astros are loaded with that. So there is a fit. There is a possibility there. I don't think that we're going to see it happen. I know that there's still a lot of Blue Jays fans out there that feel like there is going to be another move before the start of the season that will clear some things up at second base. I'm not one of those guys.
I would say it would be professional malpractice if Ross Atkins didn't pick up the phone.
Yes.
I'll say that. It is just an obvious connection. You have a competitive team in need. We have, again, it's in a position of abundance. Whether you just say, hey, which of our three guys would you be most interested in? And then what is the return on that? And then you see, okay, we're miles apart.
Yeah.
Okay, we got to go lobby, the commissioner to allow us to trade draft picks so we can balance this trade out. But short of that, we're not getting a deal done. But I'm sure Ross Atkins was kicking the tires and seeing if something could be happening. Again, I don't think we're in a rush to pull the trigger. Certainly, if anybody's in a position of pressure to make a move, it's Houston. But again, they're probably going to start April with some in-house talent and at least evaluate it that way. Like, it is a very deep team. This is of all the teams, defending World Series champion, sneak into the playoffs, right? Like, they can afford a slow April, May, and June playing around 500 ball, and they're still going to be above 500 without Jose
And this
Altuve.
this
And
is a
then getting
great
them
point,
back at
Adam.
the trade deadline, like, they can sneak into the playoffs at 90 wins or 91 wins or whatever it is, and they're still going to be World Series favorites, come October.
And this
No
is the
need to panic.
thing that you maybe don't need to, as the Houston Astros, make a knee-jerk reaction here, because you can still do a move like this, a Cavan Biggio move you could do in May, right? Like, a lot of these teams are going to hold on to high-end assets until the trade deadline. But in a scenario like that, right? Like, play this out, okay? The AL West, I don't know if there is a bigger question mark on a division in all of baseball, right? What are the Texas Rangers going to be? We don't know. They could be actually a pretty good team this year, but I got to see it first. Prove it, Texas, right?
Yeah.
The Angels might take a step forward from last year, especially after this WBC and watching Shohei and Trout be so passionate about their teams winning. And you know what? Those two guys get a taste of winning, something that they don't really get to experience very often in LA. And who knows where 2023 could go. The Seattle Mariners, right? So all of these teams that I'm mentioning here, Adam, I'm only bringing it up because this is a division where you are right, where right now Houston can afford to stand pat. I don't think that they need to move any assets around to try and fill a hole there at second where Altuve is. But maybe they reevaluate early May and they're like, holy shit, the Rangers are for real and the Mariners are for real. And now we're fighting it out for third place right now.
Right.
With a 500 Los Angeles Angels team, and
We
we
need
don't wish to
Cavan
lose much
Biggio
more
to right
ground.
this
We
ship.
need Cavan Biggio to plug the hole. Yeah, I know. It's
All right. I love it. I think a great new segment for the show would be knee-jerk reactions. So that's great. Need a beef jerky company to get on board and sponsor that section. So Medicine
That's
Hat
right.
Meat Traders, if you're listening, reach out to us.
We want you to want us.
Best beef jerky in Canada. There you go. Made with the best beef in the world. Old-fashioned product, new world flavors, soft texture, Western knowledge. Medicine Hat Meat Traders. Okay.
Good for you. We're really laying it on thick here.
Yeah, for the 0%
and if you own a
chance they
jerky
see it.
company, we could use your name there.
Exactly. Knee-jerk reactions presented by Beef Jerky of Old Dutch potato chips. Do they make beef jerky? I feel like they must.
You would hope so. They're really dropping the ball if not.
If they're not, yeah. I want a potato chip flavored beef jerky. Give me a nice ketchup or dill pickle beef jerky, and I'm all over it. Well, we've officially gone off the rails, so we're right back into the swing of things. All right, let's pivot now to.
Our listeners don't know what to do, Adam, because they've never experienced this from us before.
Yeah, they're like, what is happening here? All right.
These two are normally so focused on the track. Yeah.
All right. Next Twitter question comes in from Buddy on a Couch. Says, hey guys, been listening to the podcast for a couple months now. It's awesome. Really love the content. You guys are also super focused and never get off the rails, which I appreciate. My favorite play in baseball has almost completely disappeared from the game, the drag bunt. My commitment to the Jays this year. First player to bunt for a base hit this season. I'm getting their jersey. Your guesses on who that'll be. Drag bunt, Scott. That's when you dress up as a very gaudy woman, right? and you bunt. The RuPaul bunt of baseball. I don't know if that's offensive or not. It's probably offensive. I don't mean offense.
Are you saying someone in drag can't drop down a bunt? Reminds me of the scene in Major League when Harris is like sitting around Joe Boo's thing there, and he's like, "Are you telling me Jesus Christ can't hit a curveball?"
Yeah, that's one of the best lines in that movie. Yeah, no, okay. I'm sure there are plenty of drag queens who can lay down a bunt. So let's make our predictions for first Blue Jay to bunt. Here's a stipulation I want clarification on. Oh, no, it's right in the question. I double read it. Here we go. The first player to bunt for a base hit. Not a sacrifice bunt, not an attempted bunt, successful bunt to get on base. Guesses.
Well, I am going to go with our newly acquired left fielder, Dalton Varsho, of course, over from the Arizona Diamondbacks for Lourdes and Moreno. He hit 9 bunts for singles last year, 6 of them against left-handed hitters or left-handed pitching. Of course, he doesn't do all that great against left-handed pitching, so that's one of the reasons why he lays bunts down more often. By the way, 9 bunt singles is more than the entire Blue Jays team combined last year. So my money is on Dalton Varsho.
Dalton Varsho, 9 bunt singles last year. I hope those. When I was a kid playing ball, you'd have like a stretch where you are slumping, and you'd lay down a bunt just as a slump buster.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You're like, I just gotta get on base. You know, I just gotta get out of this 0 for 16 rut that I'm in. I hope that's not Dalton Varsho. It's like he had 9 slumps that he had to bust with a bunt last year. Dalton Varsho is a good choice.
9 bunt singles and 27 home runs. There's not very many guys in baseball that you can throw those kind of numbers out. Yeah.
You know what? You often get the fun category of like the 2020 club or the 30, you know, like 30 home runs and 30 stolen bases or whatever, right? Pretty exclusive club to be a member of. I wonder what the number is for like the 30-10 club, the 30 home runs and 10 bunt singles. That's a pretty exclusive
I don't
club.
know if that's even ever been. Yeah, like
someone do the homework on that.
Someone do the homework and tell us.
Right. This is we're good at doing questions. It's the answers we struggle with.
Yeah, we've got questions. Do you have the answers? Of course, a tip of the hat to all of you supporting us on Patreon. We really do appreciate it. I am going to be in Halifax performing at the Yuck Yucks this weekend. Tickets. The link is in the show notes. Hopefully we see you out. Cheers.